Local legends.
Tonight we're pleased and privileged to welcome aboard Jake Lehmann. Jake, 91 first-class games, 5,258 runs, high score of 205, which was his maiden century via Tasmania. Average of 34, but of course the vitally the hundreds this year and achieving the Holy Grail and the winning the one-day title, the Dean Jones Cup and the Sheffield Shield, the most important trophy in cricket. Welcome aboard, Jake.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Mate, we like to go through a little bit of your background with some of our guests, but your background's a little bit different to most, is that you were around a lot of cricket as a youngster.
Yeah, obviously it's probably well known now that the old man and the things that have come with that. But yeah, I've just grown up around sport and cricket in particular, and I just loved everything that it's probably given me and my family.
And let's go back right to when you were a kid, a real young kid, Jake. And it's still something I hold very dearly. It was hilarious. Darren would bring you down, or someone else would bring you down. It was occasionally Emma or whatever. And you'd be in the what was called in the Chapel Bar, aka the Magic Cave, and you would have everyone in there bowling to you, and you'd be telling a couple of the older guys there, and you were their highlight, where they had to field. Can you remember much of that, Jake? Because you weren't very old.
No, I can't remember a lot of the real young stuff, and I don't remember much, to be honest, of Dad playing. There's a few highlights, I guess, when I get into my early teens, but I've heard a lot of different stories and a lot of good ones. So I feel like I remember it, but I feel like they've also been told to me a few times.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was brilliant. Now, I will say too, so the first time I actually saw Jake bat, went to watch my nephew, Thomas Simons. Did mention to Tom I was going to give this a plug today.
Yep. For
East Torrens, and I got it. You were playing up at Windsor. Got out the car. I've noticed Tom was a non-striker and looked. Oh, well, that's certainly a Lehmann with that stance. And the two of you put on 80 odd, and Tom was smart. He actually just gave you the strike. You got 70 odd to get East Torrens home. Can you remember that game much at all, Jake?
No, where was that?
That was at East Torrens, where you played. Where the season D's played, where the juniors were playing. Then was Gillis Plains Primary School, I reckon, back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah.
You got runs that day.
I played a lot of cricket. Between there and Charles Campbell.
Yeah.
For East Torrens growing up, and yeah, I can't remember that, but there was definitely some good times out there for sure.
So, Jake, we won't muck around. Well, obviously you double 100 against Tasmania, your inaugural Shield 100, so you certainly went on with it. That was Ferg that day down in Tasmania.
What do you remember of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, leading into that year, the previous year, I got a little bit of exposure to first-class cricket and list A cricket, and started quite well in first-class cricket with a couple of 50s, and I actually didn't start the year after, and I remember having to go back and play in the second 11, and I was a bit annoyed of how things were going, and I just remember we were in a little bit of trouble, and me and Fergie just kind of came together, and it was great to bat with Fergie. He was someone in such control in the middle of the game, and I just remember things kind of just happened, and all of a sudden we were away, and the partnership started building, and every time it looked like I was probably going a little bit out of my box, he'd rein me in a little bit, and he taught me a lot that day to use what I've been feeling and the emotion and all of that kind of stuff, and don't give it up on 80, 90, even 110. And then there was one moment the night of day one. I think we were both about 150 not out, and they took the new ball, and I just remember him telling me, do not get out tonight. This is such an important part of the game, and the learnings that you get from that, and try and take forward and hopefully pass on to other players, and that's how you get big scores and big double hundreds.
Yeah, and it was a huge partnership. We ended up winning the game, I reckon, on memory too, Jake.
Yeah, yeah. There was a
Yes.
lot. There was a lot of runs in the second innings from them. I think Dunk got 100 and Bailey got 100. Yeah, we got over the line in the end, which was great fun.
Do you find that the old man was coaching you up a little bit more as a junior, or was he still pretty involved with national commitments at the time?
No, I think I've said it in a few interviews and across the board. I think the best thing that the old man did to me was to let me grow into the game and play the game and be the person that I want to be, and I really respected that, and I fell in love with sport and cricket and footy, etc. For the fun and the enjoyment of it. But obviously, like as it goes on and things happen. Like we love talking sport. Like, so I talk
Yeah.
to him all the time about cricket, and we probably talk more now about you know how to play someone or the style of play or
Yeah.
how you're going to score your runs against someone. But as a junior, it was kind of just go out and explore and enjoy the game.
He's a shocker.
Fantastic.
He's a shocker when you're batting, Jake. I was with him at the Shield game where they gave everyone the numbered the caps that day. I reckon that was against Tasmania on memory, I think.
Yeah,
And you were batting, and it was hilarious. Jake was Buff was just terrible, and he admits he's got worse as he's got older and struggles.
Yeah, he definitely is a tough watcher, and he was obviously away for the Shield final,
Yeah.
but I think he actually quite enjoyed watching the game by himself and
Yeah.
having no one else around and just enjoying the cricket and the moments as they come. I think obviously once we won and we were upstairs and a few of his old mates were there and my little brother and family were all there. I think he was there on that moment, but I think throughout the game I think he was quite enjoying being by himself watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know Darren well enough in that regard, and that's exactly what he would have been enjoying.
Mate, we have to ask footy team, who do you support?
Yeah, I follow Port Adelaide
You
and
got the
Ambassador.
dark
Port
side. I
Adelaide.
can't believe that.
Yeah, no,
Disgraceful.
I've loved them. They've been so good to me. I've seen one premiership, and hopefully we'll see another one at some point. But yeah, I love going down to Adelaide Oval. I love footy. I think what they've done there, and going to Adelaide Oval and seeing sport is just so good. Whether it's footy, cricket, state of origin, the soccer.
Yeah.
So they've done a great job.
Jake, go right back to the start of this season. Now, the first one-dayer against WA in New South Wales, we somehow got out of jail. WA were cruising and collapsed. And then the first Shield game against New South Wales away, we were struggling, and Jake and Nathan both made hundreds and that to get us through to a draw. How important do you reckon they were in just starting the season so it wasn't, traditional South Australia, here we go again sort of stuff. And, in retrospect, how do you reckon that helped and that sort of things?
Yeah, I think if you look at most teams that come out on top, and you can probably see it in the AFL at the moment, the wins and the momentum at the start of the year to set up the back end of the year is so important. And the biggest example for us is the way we got to use our quicks throughout the year and use everyone in our squad and rock up to the final with fresh players and players ready to go. So I think in 14, 15 and 15, 16, we actually had a great team and played some great cricket throughout the year in Shield cricket. But we got to the final and, Chad Sayers and Joe Manny and Daniel Worrell came. They'd played every game and they were probably just a little bit cooked going into the final and pushing bowlers and that to play all the games and the overs in the legs and can be really hard at the back end of the year. So, in hindsight, they're so important to get games on the board early so that you can structure up the back end of the year how you'd want to as a team.
How influential was Rhino?
Yeah, he was massive. He was good the year before as well,
Mm.
as a bowling coach, and the biggest thing that they've done is just drive competitive standards, and I feel like we've actually been doing that over the past couple of years at training, and we've been growing. I think 3 years ago we played in that one day final
Yep.
in WA. Obviously, we weren't on the right end of that, but the next year we won 3 Shield games and missed out on a couple of tight ones when we could have easily been playing in the Shield final the year before.
Yep.
And then this year, once again, I think we just saw the rewards of continued competitiveness and driving those bat v ball standards in the nets, while adding some more depth in the squad, with Sanger coming in, etc. So, but I think he's been great, and his competitiveness and his willingness to win and explore ways to get better is been evident.
Yeah, it too. And I reckon it was vital. While every player's disappointed when they don't play, but he did get the buy-in of the whole bowling group. And as you said, it really did become the whole strong cartel. And you spot on in terms the final. We weren't really sure who was playing till right up to the death. And yeah, we were reasonably fresh. And you're right, thinking back to that final at Glenelg when Chad broke down, and yeah, our bowlers had run out of puff. So I think that is a vital.
And a couple
That
of
is a
unlucky
vital
decisions
point.
didn't help that either.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that LBW against, LBW
But
against Hanson.
yeah, I think the that your point there is, no one really knew the team going into the Shield final, and unfortunately, like when you do win things, I think in the one day win, we had Harry Conway,
Yeah, exactly.
Thomas Kelly, Wes Agar,
Wes.
all these guys miss out. Ben Benenti didn't play, and
Yeah.
just to look around and go, oh wow, they could play easily. And then the Shield final, you could have easily picked Popey or
Yes.
Thornton or Nielsen or Daniel Drew, any of these guys that played throughout the year. So you're looking around. There's 4 or 5 guys sitting on the sideline that could easily be playing in the fixture, and I think that's the quality that you need to have to win these tournaments.
Jack, how did you feel, a couple of times early in the year, I think you're probably trying too hard subconsciously,
Trying to
and
be
all
too
that.
perfect.
And,
Yep.
well, you're playing for your career, you're playing for your job. Everyone's got to remember that's your livelihood. And then, you and Danny aren't they're going to sure what are we going to do if we lose if you lose your contract and all that. But then somehow your game just clicked and you came into vogue, and your last, your month was just ridiculous. Did you think any moment where it clicked, anything? I do go back to the one day final where you walked out to bat and you hit an on drive perfectly straight away. And I thought, shit, Jake's on here. And then you batted beautifully in that one day final, and your partnership with Scotty to get us through to a defendable total. But was there any moment there where you thought, hey, I've just got my game right again? As we know how much cricket's played above the years, you just got it right and you're away?
Yeah, I feel like at the start of the year, I was probably left out of both teams to start the year. And, I feel like I was making runs everywhere that I could, and got some big hundreds in the second 11, and,
Yep.
try to build momentum that way, and came in and got 100 in against New South Wales in the Shield game, and built there. And then we had that bit of a break over Big Bash, and probably just took a little bit of momentum away from me.
Yep.
And then I played a game against Sturt. Sorry. In club cricket, and got a really good 130,
Yeah,
and
I got
just
told
really
you batted
built from there.
beautifully that
And
day.
the next week was the one day final, and when I got told I was going to be playing, I said, oh, this is a great opportunity, grab it with both hands, and things just started to click from there, and I just kind of believed in what I was doing, and everything just was working, and I felt like I was seeing the ball well and moving well, and I've been around long enough. Once you get momentum as a batter, you need to find a way to
Cash
keep it
in,
for as
yeah.
long as you can. And I think in the past probably, I've probably gone up and down probably a little bit too much in those modes, and missed out on some good periods when I've been in good touch. So it
Yep.
was good to extend that and have like a really good back end of the year, and just ride the wave of what was happening, and hopefully we can see more of that.
How important is it to get back to local cricket just to find some touch? Because there are some good players going around at the local level, just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I've always been an advocate of going back and trying to play cricket. I think, these days there's probably some question about spending too much time in the nets and not enough time playing, and
Yeah.
I'm probably an advocate of that. I think you get the most confident as a player being out in the middle and doing it out in the middle, regardless of the opposition,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So. I think it's important, and for me, I had to make the big decision last year of leaving East Torrens and going to Kensington, and just with the divisions, I just wanted to keep trying to play the best cricket I can, and that's the way professional cricket is sometimes, and it's important, I think, and I would like to see probably the progress of the next generation of SA cricketers really try and dominate at that level, and probably not see the same names popping up.
Yeah.
And see that next 18-year-old Travis Head or whatever come through soon. So let's hope we can see that.
Yeah. Like a Page looked like he was going to be at one stage. Unfortunately, we've lost Matty Leray. It looks like the football at this stage. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a big call here. See how Jake. I reckon Leray may end up like Alex Carey, end up coming back to cricket.
At some stage.
Yeah. So yeah.
I coached the under-19s and helped out this year. And Matty Leray was the skipper of the 19s, and
he's a good leader.
A great kid. And he was a very, very handy cricketer, and I haven't seen him play footy, but he was talking it up a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. I'll be watching him for sure.
He's been good in the 18s in terms of performing his role. He's actually playing on a wing in the 18s, which I probably think he's better inside, but that's just the role. I think he'll end up getting picked up, but we'll just end up see how he goes there. Now, Jack,
you mentioned Travis Head just a second ago there. Now, tell us all about this competition with the moustache with Travis Head.
Oh yeah, that was years and years ago. But we were just stuffing around as young kids, and I think at the time, I think we were betting on a carton of beer at that stage, and I ended up winning the bet. And looking back now, knowing how well Travis has done and how successful he's been, I probably should have upped the bet.
Yeah, just a tad.
Gone a bottle of Grange or something.
At least, Jake. And Jake, too, huge thing this year. It's our most successful ever season away, which I reckon is really significant. Now, one game, we've got to go to the game in Tasmania. It's still the most crazy finish ever seen in a game of cricket, where incredibly a dot ball changed everything in the last over. What were your thoughts down there, Jake, as the experienced older head out in the field? Because it was crazy, wasn't it, in terms of a finish? It was, just try and explain what you were thinking down there, mate.
Yeah, I think going into the day, and, I think we thought that it was going to be, tough to get wickets, but I thought, 450 on the board. Like, there's going to be 10 opportunities to be created here at some point. If we're good enough to take them, we'll win. But as the day went on, the opportunities just, they weren't coming. Like, we didn't really drop any, or we dropped a couple catches, but we were like, there's got to be some more coming. And, it just kept getting tighter and tighter. And it was definitely, I reckon, about when Mitch Owen was still in, I felt like, geez, this might have just slipped away.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, once again, Rhino's messages continue to fight, stay in the contest. They'll make another mistake, and you know that's exactly what happened.
Oh,
And Mitch
bloody
Owen
oath.
just hit one to mid on randomly, and then all of a sudden, you know, we had another one, and then you know they started to block, and then I don't know what Riley Meredith was doing in the last little bit, but
Well, we had Wes
thanks.
Agar on our show since with that, and Wes said they put up 3 on the scoreboard. So how in the hell Meredith didn't know as the player coming into bat? You would have thought it would have been talked about on the bench, but he's seen the 3, so he thought it was 2 to tie, 3 to win. So that's why he came back for the second run, thinking that was the tying run, which obviously was more bonus points than a draw. Where it turned out, no, that wasn't the correct thing. So it was just sensational for us. Yeah.
It was amazing. But once again, it just shows you if you can stay in the contest and you know, try and keep creating those opportunities. And a lot of times the games turn because pressure does funny things to people, and we saw that evidently there.
Did you do anything different on your trips away this year?
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.